All right, let's dive right in and crack the code on big data for your OCR Cambridge Advanced National F20 exam. Look, if you're gearing up for your IT data analytics assessment, you already know that wrapping your head around the sheer scale of modern data is, well, it's absolutely critical for getting that top grade. We are not just talking about massive spreadsheets here. We're talking about a fundamental shift in how the real world actually processes information. I mean, just look at the sheer scale we're dealing with here. By the year 2020, humanity was already generating an estimated 40,000 exabytes of data. And to put that into perspective, an exabyte is a billion gigabytes. It's literally mind-blowing. This instantly shows us exactly why traditional relational databases completely fail at this level, and why big data requires these massive new frameworks just to capture, manage, and process all that info with low latency. So, here's our roadmap for today. 1. Welcome to F21 Big Data. 2. The foundational 3 Vs. 3. Mastering the advanced Vs. 4. Machine learning and AI. And 5. Acing your F21 exam. Let's kick things off with Section 1. Welcome to F21 Big Data. So, the whole concept of big data has evolved super rapidly over the years. Early on, experts used this really simple 3V model. But then it expanded to the 4 Vs, bringing in veracity. As our digital world, from social media feeds to wearable health monitors, grew more and more complex, the framework literally had to expand to keep up. Now, for your F21 spec, you are required to know the fully evolved 6 Vs framework, so let's get into it. Moving right along to Section 2, the foundational 3 Vs. Okay, so volume is the foundation. It's literally the physical quantity of data being collected from sources all over the internet. Just to give you an idea of this massive scale, mobile traffic alone was hitting 6.2 billion gigabytes a month, and that was back in 2016. When you're dealing with tens or hundreds of terabytes, sheer size completely dictates your processing methods. Next up is velocity, and this is all about how fast data is generated and processed in real time. It's definitely not a slow trickle, it's a massive, continuous flow rushing in from the Internet of Things, sensors, transactional apps, the whole shebang. Dealing with this kind of high-speed accumulation often demands rapid sampling techniques, just to keep up and meet those immediate demands. The third foundational pillar is variety. Because data comes from literally everywhere, sensors, social media, log files, video cameras, it very rarely arrives in one neat, uniform format. While traditional databases love their neat little rows and columns, big data embraces a multitude of disparate dimensions that come from completely heterogeneous sources. Now, understanding variety requires an absolutely crucial classification skill for your F201 data table tasks. You've got to be able to categorize data formats. So, structured data is your tabular format with a fixed schema. Think relational databases. Semi-structured uses tags or markers, so stuff like JSON or XML files. And unstructured data, it has no predefined model at all, so audio, video, and text files. Knowing these distinctions is vital. All right, let's jump into Section 3, Mastering the Advanced Vs. Distinguishing between veracity and variability is super crucial, mostly because students mix these up all the time. Veracity is all about the trust score and the quality of the data. Like, is it messy, noisy, incomplete? Variability, on the other hand, asks if the flow of that data is consistent over time. Is the data stream dependable, even in extreme unpredictability? Remember it like this. Veracity is accuracy, variability is the consistency of the flow. And that leads us perfectly to the 6th V. Ultimately, value is the most important V of all. Honestly, if you can't extract actionable business intelligence, storing all those terabytes is completely pointless. Data by itself is useless unless you actually perform analysis to turn it into something valuable that addresses a specific business outcome. Which brings us to Section 4, Machine Learning and AI. So, we have to ask the big question, right? How do we actually extract that all-important value from such an overwhelming volume of data? To answer this, we've got to look at the powerful relationship between the 6 Vs and artificial intelligence. Here is exactly how massive volume and variety become the essential training fuel for machine learning models. Because remember, raw data quality is never guaranteed, so step 2, rigorous data validation and cleansing, is absolutely critical. Once it's cleaned, this huge array of structured and unstructured data trains the algorithms.
Finally, we execute complex data mining to predict outcomes, make recommendations, and spot hidden patterns that we as humans could never find on our own.
All right, let's bring it all home. Section 5, Acing Your F21 Exam.
Okay, listen up. When you hit those 6-mark analysis and 9-mark discuss questions, using the 6 Vs as your structural framework is absolutely going to guarantee you hit the key indicative content those examiners are looking for. Don't just list the Vs, though. Anchor them with specific examples from the scenario, like explicitly identify a JSON file as semi-structured data. Always link infrastructure challenges right back to volume and velocity. And critically, never forget to evaluate the legal and ethical considerations. Specifically reference regulations like the UK GDPR when you're discussing data management. As you prep for your exam, always remember that data is only as good as the insights you draw from it. Keep that 6 Vs framework right at the front of your mind, and you'll be well on your way to a top grade. I want to leave you with this one thought to ponder. In a world overflowing with data, are you just focusing on the volume, or are you actually extracting the value? Best of luck with your F201 revision.